a while. Right.
Gary, how long have you been on the planning commission? A long time. I knew it was well over a decade.
We're going to start if everybody's ready. Very good, appreciate it. I'd like to call this October 7, 2025 meeting of the Henderson City County Planning Commission to order. I want to welcome everybody. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your input, your interest, your contribution. Before we move on, I'd like to welcome a new commissioner, the Honorable Kurt Hamilton. Joining this evening, Commissioner Hamilton is taking the seat of Commissioner XR Royster, who served this community in many different ways. We miss having XR on board with us, but we're happy to have Commissioner Hamilton in his place. Thank you for accepting the charge.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We also have Mr. Shad Brown sitting in for our attorney, who's available via Zoom, I think. That being said,
yes.
There he is. Good, thank you. That being said, please call the roll.
Thank you. David Dixon.
Here.
Kevin Richard. Bobby Jarrett.
Here.
Mac Arnold.
Here.
Dickie Johnson.
Here.
Gary Gibson.
Here.
Kevin Herron. Gray Hodge.
Here.
Stacy Denton.
Here.
Frank Boyette.
Here,
Heather Tays.
Here.
Kurt Hamilton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
We do, thank you.
Very good, thanks. I'll entertain a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of entering public hearing, say yes.
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 Any opposed? We're now in public hearing. First item of business, of course, is the approval of the September 2 minutes. I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented.
So moved.
Second,
Motion and a second. Any discussion concerning the minutes of the last meeting? All in favor of approving the minutes, say yes.
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 Any opposed? Minutes are approved. Next item of business, we have a city zoning text amendment concerning tiny homes. Your name, please?
My name is Dawn Kelsey. I'm here as Steve Davis tonight. We're having Steve a little break tonight.
Okay, your address?
Yes, 637 North Main Street. Sorry,
Did you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I did.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you. So tonight, the City Commission has sent to you all a proposal to amend the current zoning ordinance to provide for tiny homes. This originated out of some phone calls that Steve Davis, our code administrator, received, specifically one from an owner of a mobile home area who would like to replace her dilapidated mobile homes with tiny homes. Currently under the ordinance, that is not a permissible use under manufactured home district. So we took a look at this, and as you all know, Kentucky is facing a housing shortage, an affordable housing shortage, and the legislature is actually looking at this, and tiny homes are one of the things that they have been looking at. So we felt like this was a really good time to look and see if we could expand our ordinance to provide for tiny homes as another affordable option. So what we propose to do is to add a definition for tiny homes in the definition section, which would be a single-family dwelling constructed in compliance with the Kentucky Residential Code, would be between 120 and 800 square feet, built on a permanent foundation. Independent living facilities for permanent occupancy, and it would be subject to the same utility and permitting requirements as any other single-family dwelling. We propose that it be a permissible use in PUDs, planned unit development. If you've seen throughout the country, tiny home communities are a growing trend. And we think it'd be great to have a tiny home community right here. So with the PUD, as you all are very familiar with, you all would really look over the site plans and how that PUD would be set up. We would also propose that it be a permitted use in manufactured home districts, as more people are looking at replacing their trailers with tiny homes. And in residential subdivided manufactured home district, we have one of those in Henderson, and that's out on Carter Drive. We would also propose that it be a conditional use for R3, so our residential, medium, and high density, and Audubon residential district. And in doing that, we remain consistent with how we currently allow trailers or manufactured homes. And most recently, you all approved the shipping, or recommended the shipping containers. So we would treat them the same way. So this would be our first step into allowing tiny homes in our community. And that is our presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Does the commission have questions for this witness?
Don?
Yeah.
One question. Existing subdivisions out there, if they have minimum square foot regulations already, is there going to be any way of, have those modified to accept a?
Okay, when you say out there, are
Well,
you?
I'm just saying, anywhere around that, the subdivision, if there's one that's, we're saying minimum square feet has to be 1,200 square feet.
Mr. Arnold, are you referring to restrictive covenants?
Yes.
Yeah, so a
just-
restrictive covenant it always is going to trump a zoning ordinance,
Okay.
so.
So, I mean, those would basically not be able to be a district.
No,
That's
that would be,
all.
that, you would have to change, you would have to work with the people in that community, or that subdivision, to change the restrictive covenant.
If there's an existing dwelling on this lot, you add a tiny home to put it in the backyard?
Oh, so you're talking about an accessory dwelling unit? Right now, we don't have anything in there that would provide for it, but I will tell you that the Kentucky Housing, so right now the legislature has a special committee, and it's called the Kentucky Housing Task Force, and AUGs are something they are very seriously looking into, and we expect that we will receive some guidance, just like we've received some other guidance out of this legislative, and then we'll be able to come back with you on that guidance. So I would imagine sooner rather than later, we'll be back with that, but at this point, no.
Okay. Is there a minimum lot size that we're dealing with in these areas, in these zones?
Minimum lot size, no, but you would have to meet the setbacks of,
Here's my question, how many of these can I get in on one lot?
that would be a Steve Davis question, but I can't answer that, I'm sorry, without
There would be a
Steve.
possibility of more than one then.
I think it'd be, right, it'd have to be a subdivided lot.
Right.
It has to be one per lot, I mean, it's technically.
Right, because they're a residential home, so.
Okay?
But you could subdivide your lot if you, because it would give you more spots, so you could rearrange your lot and go different districts.
Yeah, I think what the chairman's asking is, we go through the normal process as far as subdividing and getting the building permit. So 1-to-1 ratio, as Commissioner Arnold said, still applies.
Thank you. Thank you.
As far as setbacks, like, side yards and what kind of that.
It'll meet the current setbacks of each zone if they're permitted or conditional use.
Don, could this be handled like a condominium complex where you have one lot with, say, 10 of these tiny units on it if the plan calls for that?
Well, you can use it as a PUD, like a planned
Right.
unit development. Yeah, you
Okay.
can do it as a planned unit development.
Thank you.
Don, could some of these fit on a lot of the infield lots throughout the city that are empty?
Yes, especially in ARD and in fact, I think you and I looked some years ago at doing that at a very small lot in Clay Street because we were exploring that years ago as to what we could do with that. And this would be a perfect way of handling some of those infield lots.
Yeah.
Mr. Jarrett, I think one thing that we should be aware of, these still meet the Kentucky Residential Code, so there's not any kind of exemption from a code or anything of that nature. So they still have minimum window size, things of that nature.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the commission at this point?
Do you have any estimation of how many housing?
But we do know that there is someone ready as soon as we get this passed, who has spoken with Steve about going ahead and going forward with this. So we know that there is interest.
Other questions? From the commission? Okay, thank you very much. We are in public hearing, so is anyone else here this evening who would like to speak to this question? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Lisa Thompson Meyer, and my address is 13341 Highway 136 East in Henderson.
Very good.
Question
You promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing
Oh,
but the
yes,
truth?
yes.
Thank you very much.
The question I have is 120 square foot. That is, most storage buildings are larger than that. Okay, I think that's a little small myself, but, you know, there are some houses that are only like 800 square foot, so I'm wondering if it could be more like a 500 to an 800 square foot, because 120 square foot, I guess I'm questioning how you could get a bathroom, you know, a sleeping area, you know, be able to cook food and all that in 120 square foot.
What you got to look at, these basically, the first concept of design homes were more like mobile, or actually, if you want to say trailers or campers.
Right.
That concept, and they was just to be a little different design of that. So you've got some small campers. I mean, it's tight, yes, but if that's what the person can live with within that space, then that's all we're trying to do. We're trying to make it where there's not, you know, enough room at least for them to use it. And if they feel like that's, you know, they can work with that, then they can do that.
I think it's important to remember that these still meet the Kentucky Residential Code, so minimum room size, all that's still going to come into play. I believe Ms. Meyer's right. It may be challenging to get 120 square feet into a living residence, but that would be up to the designer and the code department to make sure that that works and meets all the codes.
Right, also, the statement was basically, that size, less lofts, correct? So
Including law.
Yeah, so a house could be 120 square feet, and then have a loft in it, which would be another, you know, 100 or so feet possibly up there.
But just in my opinion, just looking at, you know, with your pitch of your roofs and so forth, if it's got a loft, it's not going to be, if the whole thing's 120 square foot, you know, like a 10 by 12, you're not going to have much space up in that loft either. And I just wonder about like turnover and those kind of things too. That's
The 100 is the floor area.
Right.
You can still have 12 to 5 walls
right.
to be that, and that would allow you maybe to get your loft in there or whatever.
Because I know, just like in the county, when you're gonna do a storage building, I mean, you go through all kinds of crazy stuff. You know, on a storage building that's like 10 by 12, to get approval for that. So I guess my concern is that realistic? You know, I mean, are you opening yourself up for lack of a better word, ghetto type environment?
Mr. Chairman, can I address that? I think one thing that is important for us to know, someone just can't go buy a storage building off a lot and then call it a tiny home.
Right.
It still would have to be certified, it still has to have minimum floor joist size, it has to be, it's still going to meet those requirements. It's not going to be that you buy a storage building off a lot at Lowe's and then they'll live in it.
Right, but I'm just looking at the size. You know, a storage building's like 10 by 12, that's 120 square foot. And you don't get much in there. Just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Anyone else like to speak to this question tonight? Questions about it, or for and against? For or against? No one else would like to speak?
I had a question for Don.
Yes, by all means.
there's no, I didn't see any restrictions there on these things have to be owner occupied.
We don't have,
They could, somebody could build them and rent them out.
yes, they do. We don't have any restriction on that, just like we don't have restrictions on container homes or on manufactured trailers.
Yeah.
We don't have.
I think that's a good idea because the Hendersonian just had an article about how much homelessness we've got in this county.
Thank you. Anyone have anything else to add? If there's no one else have any more input they'd like to offer, I'll entertain a motion in regard to the city zoning text amendment concerning tiny homes as presented.
I move that we adopt this amendment as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion by the commission? If not, Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Bobby Jarrett.
Yes.
Mac Arnold.
Yes.
Dickie Johnson.
Yes.
Gary Gibson.
Yes.
Greg Hodge.
Yes.
Stacy Denton.
Yes.
Frank Boyette.
Yes.
Heather Tays.
Yes.
Kurt Hamilton.
Yes.
Very good, motion passes. That concludes the public hearing part of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion to leave public hearing.
So moved.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of leaving public hearing, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? We are out of public hearing. Next item on the agenda is our September finance report. Ms. Thompson, will you help us with that?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. In front of you are the September finance reports. And we are 3 months into the fiscal year, and we're at 30% of
Any questions concerning the finance report? If there are no questions, I'll entertain a motion to approve as presented. Second. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the finance report, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Finance report is approved. The next item is the Fence Pro site plan. I think Ms. Marks is going to help us with that.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fence Pros site plan submitted by Fence Pros for the property located in the city of Henderson at 1700 Clay Street, being parcel ID number 56-60. The applicant is requesting site plan approval. So as you all will remember, we did the preliminary plat for this lot here back in September. And at this time, Fence Pros is looking to develop their location here. The location would include 1,600 square foot of office space, which is this little area right here. I can click on it to make it bigger if needed. A 2,400 square foot shop space, which is this section back here. They would have 18 parking spots, which is what they need per code. An encroachment permit would be needed through the state. This is a state maintained road. Before any building permit would be issued. The entire rear of the building, so this section here, or the layout, is fenced in. And the project does have all approvals from the technical folks. Again, this would be subject to an encroachment permit from KYTC, as well as an approved final plat. There was some easement discussion for that final plat, so they were working through that as well. So no building permits would be issued until that encroachment permit was received, as well as the final plat approved and recorded. Their agent is here if you all have any further questions on the site plan.
Okay, so this is the very northern part of that lot, correct?
Yes.
We're not.
So this.
You're not showing us it's so long, skinny.
No, so again, because we don't have an approved plat, it's not in GIS that way yet, but this is kind of the area that we did the rezoning on a few meetings back to M1, so that all of it would then be M1 so that he could develop on it, but the actual development itself takes place up here in this section.
Okay, and that's Clay Street running
Correct.
across the corner there.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good, thank you. Any questions for staff concerning this site plan? Okay, if there's no questions, I'll entertain a motion in regard to the Finch Pro site plan as presented.
I move that we approve Fence Pros site plan at 1700 Clay Street.
We have stuff you do here.
Yes, so subject to the encroachment permit from KYTC as well as the approved final plat.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
We've amended the motion to include those subject twos.
Second.
We now have a second. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Heather Tays.
Yes.
Kurt Hamilton.
Yes.
Frank Boyette.
Yes.
Stacy Denton.
Yes.
Gray Hodge.
Yes.
Gary Gibson.
Yes.
Dickie Johnson.
Yes.
Mac Arnold.
Yes.
Bobby Jarrett.
Yes.
Very good, the motion has been approved. Next item is the Henderson County zoning text amendment, findings of fact. Mr. Bishop. first.
Yes, the planning commission may remember that the vote was taken at last month's meeting, and staff was directed to come back to this meeting with the reasoning and summary of last month's meeting to support that decision. So, Mr. Chairman, if you are agreeable, I will read that into the record.
Yes, please do.
The Henderson City County Planning Commission held a regular meeting on Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, to conduct a public hearing to consider, among other things, a proposed text amendment to the Henderson County zoning ordinance, creating a new chapter 33 regarding wind energy conversion systems, WECs. The county's resolution originating the text amendment is set out verbatim in the attached transcript and is herein referred to as proposed wind moratorium ordinance. After hearing multiple hours of testimony, the Planning Commission voted at the September 2nd, 2025 regular meeting to recommend that the Henderson County Fiscal Court make certain changes to the proposed text amendment as it is further enumerated below. And the Planning Commission voted to table the matter until the next regular meeting for staff to prepare a proposed motion, findings of fact, and recommendations that are consistent with the record of the public hearing for the Planning Commission to consider, and the public hearing not be reopened. Motion. I move that the actions at the September 2nd, 2025 meeting making recommendations to fiscal court be and hereby are ratified and confirmed, and I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the fiscal court change the proposed text amendment by inserting into the moratorium language in section 2, language that the moratorium remain in effect until approximately 2 years after the fiscal court's final action adopting this moratorium. Text amendment, which may also be approximately October 5th, 2027, and that the Planning Commission is also recommending that such moratorium also apply to small-scale WECs, that small-scale WECs also be subject to the moratorium. The Planning Commission recommends Section 2 of Article 33, the wind energy conversion system WECs reads something like the following. Moratorium, the remainder of this zoning ordinance, and shall other ordinances notwithstanding, there is hereby imposed a moratorium on filing, processing, review, and acceptance by the Henderson County Fiscal Court, the Henderson City County Planning Commission, HCCPC, the Henderson County Board of Zoning Adjustment, HC BOZA, the Henderson County Codes Administrator, or any other department, subdivision, agency, board, or commission of Henderson County government of any and all applications for rezoning, conditional use permits, building permits, or other types of applications for both industrial scale WECs and small scale WECs, and all other WECs projects, towers, and installations. This moratorium shall remain in effect until 2 years after this ordinance amending the Henderson County zoning ordinance, creating a new chapter entitled Article 33, Wind Energy Conversion System, WECs, is adopted by fiscal court, or until each time, or such time as fiscal court amends this article by adopting comprehensive WECs regulations, whichever comes first, unless such moratorium is repealed or extended. Reasons, transcript, summary, and findings of fact. A full transcript of the September 2nd, 2025 public hearing is attached hereto and incorporated herein by reference to provide a full, complete record of the public hearing and Planning Commission's actions. Recommendations and reasons which are based on such record, and in addition to the following brief reasons, summary, and findings of fact are also provided. The primary reasons for the recommendations are to allow the Henderson City County Planning Commission, and Fiscal Court an opportunity to hold more public hearings, to seek public input to use to draft and adopt a comprehensive ordinance to regulate and deal with wind energy conversion systems in Henderson County. One of the individuals who testified at the public hearing was represented by counsel and that the individual submitted a letter drafted by counsel, which was read into the record. The content of such letter appears as part of the transcript, and a copy of the letter is also attached to the transcript. All other matters submitted by those testifying are attached to and incorporated into the transcript. One of the individuals stated petitions opposing industrial scale energy development, including wind turbines, solar farms, and battery energy storage systems, had been signed by a very large number of Henderson County residents. The wording of the petitions was read into the record, but the petitions were not submitted to included into the record. 28 individuals testified. Several of them testified several times at the public hearing. 2 were employees of Cordelio Power, which is the company taking leases in eastern Henderson County. 1 individual was neutral about the WEX, but stated the information regarding WEX was readily available and encouraged a speedy process. The other individuals were either strongly against WEX or altogether encouraged the Planning Commission and Fiscal Court to consider as such information as possible and proceed cautiously. Several individuals were in favor of including small-scale WEX in the moratorium, and several were against small-scale WEX together. There was a common perception that allowing small-scale WEX would somehow give an advantage to applicants for industrial-scale WEX. There were no questions regarding the height of small-scale WEX. Was the maximum height of 50 feet measured from the ground elevation to the tip of the blade when the blade is at its highest position, or to the top of the tower holding the small-scale WEX. More carefully wording the definitions could help in this regard. Another individual pointed out that heavy loads of concrete and other materials needed to build WEX would be very harmful to local roads and would therefore be costly. 1 individual testified that the proposed 720-foot industrial-scale WEX would be taller than the Gateway Arch in St. Louis, thus visible for considerably long distances.
Thank you, Mr. Bishop. Questions from the commission or staff? Mr. Bishop, what could you share with us again what is would be this motion should pass this evening? What the next step of the process would be?
Yes, sir. So the next step would be staff prepares the minutes for this meeting to send along with this, which is what this Heather will do.
This meeting tonight?
Correct. So the minutes from, the draft minutes from this meeting, let me make sure that's clear. And then all the information referenced here, the previous minutes, the information that was provided by the council that's referenced to, goes to fiscal court. From there, fiscal court will vote to act on it as they see fit. So at this point, this is still a recommendation, and fiscal court has the final say.
Very good. And they would determine when they take it up?
Yes, sir.
That would be completely their decision to make.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions for staff concerning this? I don't have any staff, I'll entertain, or any questions. I'll entertain a motion regarding the Henderson County zoning text amendment recommendation that we have just heard the proposed motion dealing with.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we forward to the fiscal court, recommendation to accept our findings, the fact that was read into the record by Mr. Bishop. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Bobby Jarrett,
Yes.
Mac Arnold,
Yes.
Dickie Johnson,
Yes.
Gary Gibson,
Yes.
Greg Hodge,
No.
Stacy Denton,
Yes.
Frank Boyette,
Yes.
Heather Tays,
Yes.
Kurt Hamilton.
Respectfully, I abstain, having just been appointed today.
Very good. The motion passes.
Yes.
Thank you all very much. Next item on the agenda is other business. Madam Secretary, you've got an item you'd like to discuss?
I would. I had placed at your seats continuing education forms for you all to sign for the credit from the floodplain class that we had, and also for the open records request. So if you all have completed those and turned them in to me, thank you. If you have not, if you would please work on that and get those back to me at your earliest convenience. Please.
Thank you. Does staff have any other business for us to consider this evening?
No, sir.
Okay. Would anyone else here tonight like to bring something forward for discussion? You're kidding, right?
Actually, I do. I actually just had a question about, so what, I'm sorry.
Yes. Your name, please.
Shannon Hill, 16751 Bluff City Road, Henderson, and I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Very good, thank you.
This just goes back to the timeline. So staff's gonna prepare draft minutes. Will that be given to them for their next?
That is our intent, which was why the chairman referenced, it's on their schedule. So
Okay.
we will do our best to get that processed, and with it being a pretty short meeting, Heather's really quick at that. So they being the fiscal court, should have it in the next day or two.
Any other questions?
That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Anyone else have anything to discuss tonight? On any topic for the good of the cause? Commission have anything they'd like to bring forward? I'm not hearing anything, so I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved. Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of adjournment, say yes.
Yes.
Anyone opposed? Very good, we stand adjourned.